Coach Scott Nagy joins us from his office here inside Banterra Center. Again, the final score tonight, Southern Illinois 106, North Park 71. Coach, appreciate the time. As always, just your initial thoughts. What were your biggest takeaways tonight from this one?
85 possessions in the game, and when we scrimmaged Iowa, we had over 82. So that's two games where both teams are trying to play fast. We shot a good percentage. I mean, I'm going to say that the most frustrating thing are the turnovers that just have to change for us. We can't get away with that with the Division I basketball team, or we're just not going to win any games. And so I just told them, like, we're either going to have to slow down or we're going to have to learn how to take care of the ball. I thought we shot a good percentage. We shot, 60-some%. And I told them, if you cut your turnovers in half, that's 12 points that we just gave away. Another 12 points. And that's the way you have to look at it. That's 10 possessions, shooting 60%. That's at least 12 points. So, just taking care of the ball is just going to be vital for our team. I don't know. Have to go watch the film. I mean, it's so difficult. And in a game like this, it's really hard for us to even just figure out what our lineups are, because everybody's going to get to play. We're trying to get a look at everybody. But, we're obviously going to have to shorten up the bench at some point. And so I think that's been the toughest thing for us to figure out, and I don't know how much this game's going to help.
Coach, you talk about the turnovers. What's a number you can live with? Is it a percentage? Can you live with 10% of the possessions being a turnover?
Yeah, I'm less about percentage. I don't know. Some metrics and just like 10 or under. 10 or under. I don't care. But that's a heck of a lot of possessions. I'd be shocked if we play another game this year where there's 85 possessions. The way that they played, we couldn't even run our stuff. If they're going to play that way, then we're going to attack it. We've got to play off 2 feet. We're jumping in the air and passing the ball. I mean, all these things that we've worked on for 6 months. You get in a game and guys get so sped up, and I thought our freshmen, which is normal. I mean, they just were so tight, and Rollins was tight, Jaheim was tight. I thought Drew was tight. Those guys are going to play an important part for us, and it'll get better for them. It was nice to have Twan back. I mean, we haven't had him for about 3 weeks, but he's going to make a big difference for us defensively in particular. Our communication has to get better in the switching. They're not an easy team. It's obviously that's a hard team for us to play. Our really big kids like Jorge and Jaheim because they just don't have any inside players. And you say, well, they can't guard you. They can trap the post, and our posts don't take great care of the ball. So it's a hard game for us to play them for sure. When we get to a more traditional team, those guys will have a chance to play more. But I would like to have 10 turnovers or under. I think it's going to be hard for us. We don't have a natural point guard, and so I think it's going to be difficult for us at the pace we're trying to play to get it 10 or under, but we'll win most games if we have 10 turnovers.
Coach, let's shift to the defensive end. A couple things earlier. Well, their first 3 shots were threes. Did you feel like your team was over-helping? And that's, part of it's being first game and all that stuff.
2 of them were out of our 12, which is our 3-quarter court press, and we couldn't get matched up to people. One of them was a complete overhelp by Mayo in the corner. He just didn't need to help in, and particularly from the corner. You just really can't help in from the corner because there's no help for you if you do that. You got to allow people to come across the floor and block shots. I feel like they scored most of their points shooting threes. And, again, what they were doing, it was just ball screening with their 5, getting us a switch, and they were just driving at us. And if we're going to be in a where we switch into every position, our bigs have got to move their feet better. They have to sit down. They're capable of doing it. They just need to require that of themselves, that they'll sit down and move their feet. And sometimes they did tonight. I thought when they drove and they picked up their dribble, we did a pretty good job of staying down and not jumping. And I think that they really struggle to score inside the 3-point line against us, which we're so much bigger. They should struggle.
Coach, one of the areas that we were talking about coming into the year was what you were necessarily going to get out of your guard position. Again, I know tonight you can't take everything as gospel, But Elijah Elliott is a guy you know that can score and can put up points for you. It's more doing it efficiently and taking the right shots.
That's all I want from anybody is just be efficient.
What have you seen from Elijah really since from June to now, and even in the short time of these last couple of weeks of getting to the point, knowing he's probably not quite where you want him to be, which nobody is, but where has he made some major strides for you?
Well, he's shooting the ball better, with confidence, and he's just playing with better players, which allows him, a little more freedom. He had to carry so much of their team last year where he's not going to have to do that this year and feel all that pressure, and so he can take better shots.
We saw tonight with Antoine Massey, too, as you were alluding to. He's a guy you've been out without so much. How big of a piece is he really going to be for this group this year as you continue to move along?
Yeah, it's evident to us when we put him in. Everything changes, the pace, how we can switch, who he can guard. And I mean, when he rebounds, he can take off with the ball. We're just faster and obviously more athletic with him in there for sure.
Coach, a major bright spot today was your rebounding, 53 rebounds, 16 offensive. But you talk about Massey. What really impressed me is having not only seen you guys, this is only the third time, how you're rebounding above the rim and you guys attack the rebound and then – and even though it didn't, this led to a couple of turnovers, but all in all, for this early in October, your guys are finding outlet spots also. But the rebounding, the attacking, you've got to be pleased with that progress.
Yeah, I don't know how many. I can't see that. I need my glasses. How many offensive rebounds?
16 boards.
That's way too many.
Gave up 13. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that would be my concern is that we do a better job of blocking out, because if we can get the ball, we can really get at you. But they obviously didn't shoot a very good percentage, so there's going to be more offensive rebounds to get. For us to shoot 60% and have 16 offensive rebounds, I think is a good key. We want to be on that glass. We want to kill people on the glass. We have a team that can do it. But you have to, I was telling the offensive rebounder, man, that's selfish. Go get it. Go get your rebounds. Defensive rebounding is discipline, and you have to block out. And we missed several of them. We'll be able to show them that on film. But you can't just chase the ball defensively unless your guy's not going to go. You have to check and make sure your guy doesn't go. And if he goes, then you've got to put a body on him. We're still working on that, trying to get that cleaned up.
Coach, when you think of this week now, and actually less than a week, Monday morning is when you guys will tip this thing off against Charleston. I know this is really kind of an obvious question, one that's pretty broad for you to end it, but what are the biggest things you really now work on here as you get to this closing stretch? You got your 2 exhibitions out of the way. Now you're just a few days away from traveling and getting out there to South Dakota. Well,
one thing, we absolutely messed up almost every inbounds play we ran tonight. And I have to remember, my inbounds plays are simple, but we have a lot of them. They have to be able to think quickly in terms of the number I call and the name of it. And I have to remember, I probably have to simplify some things because none of these guys have played for me. And you get in a game situation, and I call it, and they can't think quick enough. And the ball's getting handed, and people are all moving in wrong direction. So we've got to get that cleaned up, and our sets. Tonight we couldn't even run a set tonight because of the way they played. If they're gonna attack us like that, we're gonna attack them, and so we didn't. I'm not sure we ran a set. Our sideline out of bounds plays we messed up, and so there's some things we definitely need to clean up. But obviously, just continue to work on and talk about and be aware of the turnover situation for us.
Coach, appreciate the time as always. Can't wait till Monday. I know you guys are going to really get after it and practice this week and want those practices, but excited to see this thing rock and roll for officially next Monday morning.
Yeah, we'll practice Saturday morning, then we leave, and so we'll be there a couple of days, which will be nice. Since we play at 11 in the morning on Monday, it'll be nice to get out there.
Coach, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.